One reason we study history is to learn from it, to not repeat the same mistakes that we made in the past. It is disheartening to see that President Biden is repeating mistakes that were made 40 years ago. For example, President Biden has high inflation and very high gas prices. In the late 1970s, under President Carter, we also had high inflation, high gas prices. The same things happened in both cases to cause the high gas prices and to cause inflation. In the case of President Carter, he worked with the Federal Reserve to inflate the money supply, pump dollars into the American economy. That created the inflation that took place in the late 1970s. For example, we had 7% inflation in 1978, and we had by 1980, 14% inflation. Right now, we have 7%, even more than 7%, under President Biden, and he still insists in doing what Jimmy Carter did, and that is encourage the Federal Reserve to pump extra amounts of money into the American economy. In gas prices, President Biden is doing much of what Jimmy Carter did. Jimmy Carter taxed American oil companies in their drilling, in the price of oil, and thus discouraged production of oil, which made us dependent on the Middle East for our oil. When the Middle Eastern countries raised the price of oil, America had much higher oil prices. President Biden is also tinkering with discouraging oil production. He stopped the Keystone Pipeline and the drilling for oil. He's made drilling permits difficult to use in a profitable manner. Also, President Biden has not helped refineries operate at anywhere near full capacity. The United States was self-sufficient in oil production just a couple of years ago. Now we are importing massive amounts of oil from the Middle East and elsewhere because America's oil production has been hampered by restrictions on drilling and by not allowing refineries to operate at full capacity. When the American voters kicked President Carter out of office, oil was $32 a barrel. 2 years later, after President Reagan had encouraged the free production of gas, slashing taxes, the price of oil was $10 per barrel. When Jimmy Carter was foisting these bad policies on the American public, Joe Biden was a U.S. Senator from Delaware. Why wasn't he paying attention? Perhaps if he had, America would be a much more prosperous economy today, and Americans would be moving forward, not backward.